The views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily the views of ECTV News, the City of East Chicago, nor this broadcast station or website. ECTV airs public meetings as a service to the community it serves. Speakers at public meetings, broadcast, or posted by ECTV News are solely responsible for their comments. ECTV News reserves the right to edit or remove any profanity or abusive language or behavior deemed inappropriate for our viewing audience. If you have any comments or suggestions about this program, contact ECTV News at 219-391-8206.
Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Santos, roll call for attendance, please.
Maldonado.
Present.
Francisci.
Present.
Walker.
Present.
Vasquez.
Present.
Garcia. Orange. Medina.
Present.
Monroe. Parks.
Present. Chair will now accept a motion to approve regular meeting minutes for both Monday, May 23rd, 2016, and Monday, June 13th, 2016.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Monroe, second by Councilman Franceschi. Any questions on the motion? Clerk Santos, roll call, please.
Maldonado.
Yes.
Francisci.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Garcia. Orange.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Monroe.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes, motion passes. Clerk Santos, any communications from the mayor?
No.
Any communications from the department heads?
Yes. Accounts payable warrant 062716CC.
So move, Mr. President. Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Vasquez, second by Councilwoman Walker, to approve accounts payable warrant 062716CC. Any questions on the motion? Clerk Santos, roll call, please.
Maldonado.
Yes.
Francisci.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Monroe.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes, motion passes.
Accounts payable warrant 062716 Allen.
So move. Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Orange, second by Councilwoman Maldonado, to approve accounts payable warrant 062716LA. Any questions on the motion? Clerk Santos, roll call, please.
Maldonado.
Yes.
Francisci.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Monroe.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes, motion passes. Also let the record reflect that Councilman Garcia has arrived.
Accounts payable warrant 063016CC.
So move, Mr. President.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Franceschi, second by Councilwoman Maldonado, to approve accounts payable warrant 061516CC. Any questions on the motion? Clerks. That's my mistake. Accounts payable warrant 063016CC.
Yes.
Questions on the motion? Clerk Santos, roll call, please.
Maldonado.
Yes.
Francisci.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Garcia. No. Orange.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Monroe.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes, motion passes.
Accounts payable warrant 061516CC.
So move, Mr. President.
Motion made by Councilwoman Vasquez, second by Councilman Monroe, to approve accounts payable warrant 061516CC. Any questions on the motion? Clerk Santos, roll call, please.
Maldonado.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Garcia.
No.
Orange.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Monroe. Parks.
Yes, motion passes.
Accounts payable warrant, bi-weekly, 060316.
So moved, Mr. President.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Franceschi, second by Councilman Garcia to approve payroll warrant bi-weekly 060316. Any questions on the motion? Clerk Santos, roll call, please.
Maldonado.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Monroe.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes, motion passes.
Accounts payable warrant, bi-weekly, 061716.
So moved, Mr. President.
Motion made by Councilman Garcia, second by Councilman Monroe to approve payroll warrant bi-weekly 061716. Any questions on the motion? Clerk Santos, roll call, please.
Maldonado.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Monroe.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes, motion passes. With that, we'll move into committee reports. Councilman Garcia.
Mr. President, we have somebody here from Senator. Senator's going to do a presentation to the council.
Good evening, Council. I'm Brian Shook from Center and Company. Tonight, we would like to go over the 2016 pay 2017 CF1s for 3 companies. The first company is Tredebi Recycling. They were granted a 5-year abatement back in 2014 on personal property, resolution number 2014-18. The SB1 stated that they would do $7.3 million in real improvements. They've actually invested, per their CF1s, $12.7 million. For their personal property, per resolution 2014-17, they required 25 jobs, and they've actually hired 103, with their original salaries being $1.2 million. The salary stated on the CF1 was $3.4 million. We have recommended the abatement committee that they have met their CF1 requirements, and they would approve their CF1s for the 2016 pay 2017.
Mr. Council President and Council, me and the committee met with me and Ms. Walker was present. We asked plenty of questions, but that one we recommend that we go ahead and pass. Make a motion right now that we go ahead and pass Tredebi.
Second. Motion made by Councilman Garcia, second by Councilman Medina to approve the CF1 form for Tredebi. Any questions? Clerk Santos, roll call, please.
Maldonado.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Monroe.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes, motion passes.
The second CF1 filed was for ArcelorMittal USA. In 2014, the resolution number 2014-08, their SB1s said they would do $70 million in improvements, as well as 750 employees. On their CF1s, they've stated 915 employees with an investment of $71 million. We have recommended that ArcelorMittal also receives their abatement for the 2016-2017 year.
Mr. President and Council, this is another one we met on, and it's recommended that we pass that, and I make that motion that we pass this tax abatement.
Motion made by Councilman Garcia, second by Councilwoman Walker to approve CF1 form for ArcelorMittal. Any questions? Clerk Santos, roll call, please.
Maldonado.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Monroe. Parks.
Yes, motion passes.
The final company was BP. In 2006, they were granted an abatement of 7 years. that included 40 million in real property and 1.4 in personal property. In addition, they promised to retain 1,250 employees and add at least 74. Per their CF1, they have 1,829 employees with 4.7 million in personal property and another 8.6 in real property. We have recommended to the council that they approve their CF1 for the 2017 year.
Mr. President, we met on this one also, but I also been trying to get a meeting with the BP Amico. Right now, we plan to have a meeting. There's plenty of people in Markstown that's having plenty of problems with BP and buying that property, and there's a lot of issues that's going on. And I recommend we table in this one, tax abatement, until I have that meeting to straighten out any issues that we have with BP Amico. So the motion is to table this tax abatement for BP.
Okay,
Councilwoman Orange?
so you're tabling it to when? What's the date? And what's the date that we have to have this turned in?
There is no set date, but the county needs to have these numbers prior to them giving certified net assessed values to the county by September. So
Yeah, did you reach out to somebody from BP to
Yes.
schedule something?
They finally got a hold of me today. We plan to have a meeting next week.
You know what day or time or?
No, not yet. They will let me know.
Okay.
Just real quickly, Councilman Garcia, you're not approving this because they didn't meet their requirements. You're prolonging it because of the problems that are going on in Marktown, and you want to get some clarification on that.
There's a lot of issues that they're not addressing to the residents of Markstown, and I think I'm representing the Markstown, and they haven't had no relief for that. They've been trying to talk to BP Amico. Nobody's returning their phone call. They just can't get nowhere, So I think in order to bring them to the table is that, hey, let's talk about the issues, and then we'll talk about their abatement.
Okay, my question is, have they met all the requirements that we set forth for them for their abatement?
Oh, yes.
Okay, all right. Councilwoman Orange?
That's what I was gonna say. I don't think one has anything to do with the other. I'm for you getting the meeting so that you can get things straightened out for your constituents. But I don't think that we can use this as a leverage because we passed this in 2006. I think you were on the council at that time. We passed this. I know things have come up, but I don't think that we can use a tax abatement that we have approved already to bring them to the table. I think that a strong force from the council itself for all of us to be in one accord, whether we agree with the situation of Markstown or not. But I don't see you being able to use this as a tool to keep to bring them to the table. Because what if they don't say what you want to hear? Are you going to be holding this up until you get the answers that you want to hear?
Mr. President,
Quick.
Councilwoman Orange, I can't hold nothing up. Only thing I can do is ask. But the people of Morristown and the residents look to us for help, and that's what I'm trying to do is provide them help. And the way to get them to the table to listen is say, we're gonna hold this up until you listen. I need them to listen to the residents of Morristown and let's talk it out. Let's come to agreement, and we'll get it passed.
Questions, comments? Clerk Santos, roll call on the motion.
The motion was what again? I'm sorry, the clerk, what was the motion again?
The motion was to deny or not approve at this time to table.
The table,
That's why I'm confused. It was to table?
the table, yes.
Clerk Santos, roll call.
Maldonado,
No.
Franciski,
No.
Walker,
No.
Vasquez,
No.
Garcia,
Yes.
Orange,
No.
Medina,
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Parks,
No, motion fails.
the final item, 2 companies did not file their CF1s, Suncoke and Indiana Harbor.
Point of order. Are we gonna approve this today or
I would need a motion.
BP?
Yes,
BP?
yes.
Is that, I believe you're speaking about some.
Sorry, yeah.
Council President, I make a motion that we pass the tax abatement CF1 for BP.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Franceschi, second by Councilwoman Vasquez to approve tax abatement for BP. Any questions on the motion? Councilman Garcia?
Yeah, like I said, I was not trying to stop them from doing their abatement, but this is a way, that was a tool to bring them to the table, to listen, and I just can't believe that we didn't use that tool for them to bring them into this table to listen to the people of East Chicago, because BP Amoco is a $1 trillion company, and they don't care about us. They don't care about us whatsoever. And I was trying to use a tool for them to bring them to the table. Let's discuss those issues and let's go forward. That's all I wanted to do.
I just think there's other ways to bring them to the table instead of holding them up for hostage. I mean, like I said, we went back to this in 2006. I mean, I believe that, us as a council can reach out to whoever's there at BP to have your meeting, Councilman.
Councilwoman Vasquez?
Yes, and Councilman Garcia, I agree with you that the concerns of Marktown are important. The constituents in Marktown, we need to listen to their complaints. But I believe that BP has been in compliance with filing their documents every year,
That is correct.
and so that is why I'm going to vote to move on it.
Councilman Garcia?
Yeah, and the thing is, this comes before us every year. We have to prove it every year. And it's up to us to make sure if we want to pass it or not, So this isn't just because we approved it back, years ago. We got to prove this every year. I just want them to listen, come to the table, listen, and then we'll go in and pass it. And the residents of Morristown at least deserve that, because, like I said, BP Amoco is a huge company, international company, and they don't have to listen to us. They don't have to do nothing, And this is a way to bring them to the table, which it didn't work today. I'm just flabbergasted. That's all.
Any other questions, comments? Clerk Santos, roll call on the motion.
Maldonado,
Yes.
Franceschi,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Garcia,
No?
Orange,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Monroe. No. Parks.
Yes, the motion passes.
The final item for two companies that have not applied or filed their CF1s, Suncoke and Indiana Harbor. The abatement committee is requesting that we null and void their abatements until filings are made.
So move, Mr. President.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Garcia, second by Councilwoman Orange to void those for which two companies?
Suncoke and Indiana Harbor.
Okay. Any questions on the motion? Clerk Santos, roll call, please.
Maldonado,
Yes.
Franceschi,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Monroe.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we will move into board reports. Anyone with any board reports? No board reports tonight. Clerk Santos, any ordinances on first reading?
No, Mr. President.
Any ordinances on second reading?
Yes, ordinance 16-005, sponsored Mayor Anthony Copeland and Councilman Robert Garcia, an ordinance adopting uniform internal control standards for the Indiana political subdivision.
So move, Mr. President.
Second.
Councilman Garcia, it's just on second reading or second? Okay. Motion made by Councilman Garcia, second by Councilwoman Maldonado to approve ordinance 16-0005 on second reading. Any questions on the motion? Clerk Santos, roll call, please.
Maldonado,
Yes.
Franceschi,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Parks.
Yes, motion passes. Any other ordinances on second reading?
No, Mr. President.
Any ordinances on third reading?
Yes, ordinance 16-0003, sponsored Mayor Anthony Copeland, an additional appropriation ordinance.
So move, Mr. President, on third and final reading?
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Vasquez, second by Councilman Franceschi to approve ordinance 16-0003. Any questions on the motion? Clerk Santos, roll call, please.
Maldonado,
Yes.
Franceschi,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Garcia,
No.
Orange,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Parks.
Yes, motion passes. Any other ordinances on third reading?
Yes, Mr. President. Ordinance 16-0004, sponsor Mayor Anthony Copeland, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of East Chicago authorizing the transfer of appropriations within and between various city departments.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Orange, second by Councilwoman Vasquez to approve ordinance 16-0004. Any questions on the motion?
Mr. President?
Councilman Garcia?
Senator, do you have the information on this?
Brian Shook, Senator and Company. I do not have it available as Mr. Dalton. I will request that he provides you information on this if you'd like.
We needed it today, since it's on a third and final read.
So this is the appropriations. In the past, it was only one bond payment was supposed to be made, but after it was structured, there were being two done in the fiscal year. So in order to make up for that extra year that was bumped up, they need to reappropriate funds.
You know what the interest payments we have made already on this?
These are the first interest payments.
I thought we made a payment in January.
Right, and this is part of those payments.
You got a rough estimate with that,
Not off the top of my head, I'm sorry.
Mr. President? I'm finished.
Okay.
Mr. President, I just go back to the original argument I had. They taking money out of the street reconstruction fund to pay this off. To get paid this off should have came out of the gaming fund. I keep on hearing, we're in the green, you know, and we're gonna pay for some, let it come out of the gaming. But I'm not for using street reconstruction money to pay a bond. We got plenty of streets that's in dire need. I got residents here today because of their street on Grand Boulevard. You still ain't getting no relief, and it makes no sense to me to take money out of one. What's his old saying? Rob Peter to pay Paul. You know, it's ridiculous to us to use street reconstruction money to pay a debt. And the thing is, this was done, and we still haven't got nothing built. I think this was been for the 4 centers, okay? And we're paying all that interest on that money, and we haven't built not one thing. Not one thing, and we're paying interest on this money. The best thing was for us to do was that money go straight back, and then when they was ready to build the center, or the 4 centers, come back to this council and ask for that money. But right now, we're paying interest on money, and there's nothing. We have nothing at all. And I'm not for using street reconstruction money to pay a debt service when there's casino money there.
Any other questions, comments? Clerk Santos?
Maldonado,
Yes.
Franceschi,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Garcia,
No?
Orange,
Yes.
Medina,
No.
Monroe,
No.
Parks.
Yes, motion passes. Clerk Santos, any other ordinances on third reading?
No, Mr. President.
Do we have any resolutions?
Yes, resolution 16-0005, sponsored Mayor Anthony Copeland. A resolution of the Common Council of the City of East Chicago, Lake County, Indiana, approving, refunding, and transaction documents related thereto.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Orange, second by Councilwoman Vasquez to approve resolution 16-0005. Any questions on the motion? Councilman Garcia.
Is anybody here to speak on this?
Brian Brian Shook, Sender and Company. When this bond was done back in 1999, it was done with a different interest rate, and if this bond is refinanced, there's potential savings of up to $1 million. And this would be structured so in 2020 and 2021, when certain tax rates fall off, the savings will increase, and with a potential savings of $1 million. Any other questions on it?
Councilman Garcia?
What's this money being used for?
This is being used for the building corporation. I can't speak much on the bond, but this was done back in '99 for public safety uses, public safety.
We don't know what, who, what, and where then.
East Chicago Building Corp.
And what-
is using it for public safety.
Oh.
I can't speak on behalf of the building corp and what they're using the bonds for.
President, I don't know how, there's no way I'm gonna vote for this, and here, you want me to vote for this about, money that we're responsible for, and we can't get no answers to where's it going, or what's it gonna do. There's no way I'm gonna vote for this, and how can we vote as a council on this, and we don't know the particulars on it? I don't know why the city controller's not here to speak. Or the building corp, why the building corp is not here at the meeting, speaking on this?
I could be mistaken, Councilman Garcia, but I believe it's for the police department. I believe the city owns the police department, but not the land that it's on. So I believe that's what the payment is for. Go ahead.
Mr. President, you said you believe, I'd rather be exact to the people. We're responsible for the people's bottom dollar, and I'd rather be exact when it comes to that.
Any other comments, questions? Councilwoman Orange.
Well, you may believe, but I know that this is for that public safety building that was voted on in so many different council sessions of 4 years of that building that should have never been built under past administrations, under the past administration. The public safety building where they allowed a corporation to own the land and we own the building. If they told us today to take the building off the land, we'd have to demolish it and rebuild somewhere else. It should have never been done, but at some point in time, we cannot not pay the bonds. And if we can save $1 million, because at one time this was like $30 million, and we were paying like some exorbitant amount of interest each year to pay these bonds off, and several times they have lowered the amount since I've been on the council to try to so that we didn't pay as much, because I think at the end of it, I think it cost $30 million, and we were going to be paying upwards of $120 million on a building that the land that we didn't even own. So unless this council is ready to go to court to dissolve that building corporation, which I don't know who actually owns the bonds for it. We never was privy to that. They never brought nothing forward. And everything, unless you're ready to go to court to dissolve it, we don't have a choice but to try to lower the payments.
Councilman Garcia?
Yeah, I did not ask to dissolve it. I'm just trying to get some questions. I want to know who was on that building corporation. That building corporation should have been here, or even the city controller could have explained it. Council President told me his opinion. You telling me your opinion? You sit on that building court?
I can sit on there, but I can read.
But I could read myself also. But they should have been. Them representatives should have been here. If we had any questions, they should have been here to answer.
Councilman Medina?
Is this time sensitive?
I do not believe it's time sensitive, but I can't be for certain on that. I would have to refer that to Mr. Dalton.
Yeah, and it appears, probably no fault of yours, that you came to the meeting today unprepared for a lot of the issues, a lot of the questions that we raised today. Mr. President, I'd like to make a secondary motion to table this until we get someone here to speak more on the facts related to this resolution.
Second, Mr. President.
Secondary motion made by Councilman Medina to table this, second by Councilman Garcia. Any questions on the secondary motion?
Stephen Bauer, Council Attorney. What this resolution is attempting to do is to lower the interest rate on those bonds because the interest rates right now are extremely low, it saved the city a substantial amount of interest over the next few years. What is not at issue, but you may obviously look into, is the reason for the bonds in 1999, how much was spent, what the arrangements were on the construction of the police department and all of that, which is not really relevant to this resolution tonight, but it is something that the council, may want to look at. Please don't confuse making a decision that will benefit financially the city on the interest rate on these bonds with the review of the wisdom of the original arrangement and construction. I just want to point that out. Those are two different issues.
Councilman Medina?
Who wrote this resolution? Did you, sir?
No, this came either from the controller's office or the mayor's office.
And I agree with you. I want to save the city some money.
Yeah, yes.
We're rushing through something that, this is the time to ask the questions about this building corporation or about the whole bond issue. And if we don't ask the questions now, we're going to have to wait till we refinance for the third or fourth time. And that's the reason why I asked if it was time sensitive. Again, I'm in favor of saving money, but if we have to, if we can, in which we could, because we don't need to pass this till September, I think we can get a lot of these questions answered before we make a decision.
Then I would suggest that the council ask the president to communicate with the controller and the mayor's office that you want to look at not only the issues of the interest rates and what can be saved, but also the basis for the original construction and all of that. Because that's the support or the reason for the original bond issue and construction is not part of what this resolution does. But you certainly have the right to look at that.
Any other questions, comments? Clerk Santos, roll call on the secondary motion.
Maldonado,
Yes.
Franciski,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Monroe. Yes. Parks.
Yes. Resolution table. With that, we'll move into old business. Any council member with old business? Councilwoman, I'm sorry.
Are we setting up a meeting with the controller's office, or are we waiting for him to come to the next council meeting? How we gonna fix this?
Councilman Garcia?
Finance committee can meet on it,
Call for a meeting, I'll see, we'll set the time.
Any questions before we move on? Councilman Garcia?
We're still in old business?
We haven't gotten to it yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I might skip it since you have something to say. If we have no other questions, we'll move into old business. Councilman Garcia.
President. Clerk Santos, can you please send a letter to the engineering department? I know the bids were open last week, referenced the repavement of Grand Boulevard. I'd like to know when it's gonna start getting repaved. And if you could answer me by, as soon as possible. I know he has to get a hold of the company and stuff like that.
I'll answer you as soon as they get answered.
You still have the floor.
Also, Mr. President, last Thursday, we had a meeting here with department heads, and I want to thank the department heads that did show up. It was very informative. We asked them questions. What I'm disappointed is that we had a few that did not show up. The city engineer didn't come, and I think we probably had the most questions for him. I don't know who else didn't show up, but we know we had quite a few that didn't show up, but I want to thank the ones that did show up.
And with that, I will be having another workshop pretty soon to make sure that we get the engineer and planning in. Anyone else with old business? Councilwoman Orange?
Last meeting under public expression, we had a resident that came forward and he was talking about the parking stickers that he said this council had passed. This council has not passed a parking sticker ordinance. We looked into it, we're still looking into it, but we haven't passed it. And he had alerted several residents that they were in violation of their of the ordinance, and I think he talked to Clerk Santos. There has not been a resolution passed. What we had in the beginning is that so that the judge, the police chief, fire chief, the building department, various departments could look at what we were talking about and put their input. And they did that. We brought back some other stuff, but there was nothing passed, so nobody's getting their car towed because they didn't have a parking sticker. So it was just the wrong information being put out.
Any other old business? We'll now move into new business. Councilman Garcia?
Yeah, Mr. President, in the paper, I guess the last couple of days, I know Mr. Dabberton talked about this investigation, his so-called investigation he did on a city employee. I don't know where Mr. Dabberton is qualified to do an investigation with the relationship this individual has with this administration. Should have been an outside agency doing this investigation. I don't understand why it wasn't. I know I asked, sent them a letter asking for outside agency doing this investigation, either the FBI, Indiana State Police, or even the Indiana State Board of Accounts, but I guess that was bypassed. I don't know, I keep on hearing transparency from this administration, and I keep on seeing none. It took me 6 months or 5 to 4 months to get the information I needed. Here we have a so-called employee that is accused of theft, and his relationship with this administration, and this should have been an outside investigation through outside agency. I don't understand it. Here, this individual first was in the building department. He intimidates a federal employee. Police report was done. He's accused of shaking down businesses in the area. Then he gets promoted to the sanitary district there and or street department, and he does the things that he done. I read that article and the comments that Mr. Dabberton done. He's not an investigator. He doesn't have the resources that our officers have or the FBI has to try to get some of this evidence, but I don't get it. They keep on saying transparency and don't see none. Mr. President, I just want to make a motion that Mr. Dabberton provides this council with a copy of his investigation to us.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Motion made by Councilman Garcia, second by Councilman Medina to have Mr. Dabberton provide us with a copy of his investigation. Questions on the motion, Councilwoman Orange?
I'm trying to figure out how we are going about, as this council, going about business on personnel matters. And Councilman Garcia, I'm just as a fellow colleague to you, when you throwing out stuff in public, like you did with Val Gomez, like you just did with this person, because you don't really know, you just hearsay, and that's what somebody told you, since you don't have the records, and you don't have the report since you have to establish this report. For you to be throwing out information that could cause this council to be sued for defamation of character, I think it's very wrong with you. You may want to get it to the bottom of something, and you got to put on your investigative hat and start investigating yourself. But for you to throw stuff that could cause this council to be sued, I think it's wrong with you. You mentioned the fact that about a person, and if it's all true, the FBI is definitely the place you should be going. But for you to put it out here, just like you did with Val, to say he, and everything like that, you putting us in a position to be sued, and I think that's wrong of you. If you got information that's fact, that's fine. but you doing like rough stuff, throwing out, innuendos and rumors and stuff like that, and you have no basis for what you're talking about either.
Councilman Garcia?
Yeah, Ms. Orange, I don't know what you talking about Val Gomez. I don't know where you get, I didn't accuse him of nothing.
Yes, you did.
I
It's
didn't
on the
define,
record,
I
and
didn't,
it's on the TV.
I got the floor. I got the floor. I got the floor.
This thing is wrong.
I got the floor. I got the floor. You know, the only thing I asked for Val Gomez was that for that information, which he never provided to me, and I had to keep on going forward. But this council is responsible to the people of East Chicago, and if there was a theft made, and we think it might have been swept under the rug or something, those are allegations. And I didn't say he was guilty of it. I said there's allegations, serious allegations that this individual has close ties with. You know what? And if we're gonna be truly transparent, there should be an outside agency doing this investigation.
You just got them saying about the,
Councilwoman Orange, wait till you recognize. Councilwoman Orange.
got them saying that you heard that that person was shooting down, at business and stuff. You don't know that to be a fact. And just like it was Val Gomez, when you said that he, was not doing, he had been doing things that wasn't on the up and up, and he, of his business, and he kept asking you, are you saying that we have, doing stuff that's illegal and everything else? And he kept asking you that right here in front of TV. That's what I'm just saying. It's okay for you to have your feelings of whatever you feel, but to take this, council down a slippery slope with you is wrong, because you don't know if he was paying people off unless he paid you off. You cannot definitely say, and if it is, then they should be running down to the police station, making reports that somebody was taking them and making them pay for different stuff. You don't know that to be a fact.
Councilman Garcia?
Yeah, Mr. President, you know, like, again, Gilda, I never say anything about Val not doing nothing on the up and up, okay?
Then we need to be playing back the tape.
Didn't say nothing about him doing nothing up and up, all right?
But you did, Councilman Garcia. Maybe
All right,
he
no,
and being mad,
no,
maybe you didn't
no.
realize what you
Mr.
said.
President, can we move on?
Councilwoman Vasquez.
Move on.
Councilman Medina.
I second the motion to ask for a report that was done. I know that there were accusations. The newspaper isn't always clear or precise on their facts either. I'm in favor of just getting the facts so that we as councilmen know whether a crime occurred or it didn't. Let's stay focused on what this motion was for, and let's not debate on other issues.
Councilwoman Vasquez.
Well, I agree with you, Councilman Medina. What I would ask of my colleague, Councilman Garcia, is that if there's information, I don't know, I don't believe, first of all, what I read in the paper, because the paper doesn't tell the truth all the time. I'm not gonna go by their facts. But if there's facts that you have about a situation that's going on, and it has something to do with the finances of this city, then I think that we should meet together as the finance committee and talk about it. But I have no idea what facts or who you're talking about, so I can't vote on something I don't even know anything about, except what's in the paper.
Councilwoman Maldonado.
Councilman Garcia, what is the purpose of your request? Is it to gain information for the city council?
Yes, for the city council, and also to see what type of investigation, you know, Mr. Damberton, he's an HR consultant that's paid by this administration. You know what, if we're gonna be transparent, let's, you know, what's everybody scared of having an outside agency come and investigate this?
I understand, but I'm just for my purposes and understanding your request, it is to gain information for the city council?
Yes.
Of what happened?
Correct.
Right, okay.
Clerk Santos, roll call on the motion.
Maldonado,
Yes.
Franciski,
Yes.
Walker,
Yeah.
Vasquez, Garcia,
Yes.
Orange, Medina,
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Hart.
No. Motion passes. Do we have any other new business? Councilman Garcia.
Yeah, Mr. President, I know there was an executive order just signed last week, referenced bonuses going out to the city workers. What I understand that some employees didn't receive it. I don't think union employees received it. I understand the firemen did receive it. and a policeman didn't receive it, how can we not give a bonuses to all the employees of Chicago and we're gonna exclude somebody? I think that's going down the wrong road. Our policemen serve this community, and they're well deserving like any other employees. Here we got bonuses going to part-timers, and part-timers that's been here less than a year, and we have some officers that's been here, years, and it's unfair for them not to receive a bonus. Heard of some comments that maybe this administration said, can't believe it or not. I don't know. Is it a union president or vice president? Could I have the vice president come up?
He's scheduled to speak. He's going to speak during public expression. Do you have any specific questions for him?
Yes.
Roach.
William Johnson, Vice President, FOP Lodge 59.
Was this negotiated, or anybody talked about getting a raise for the PD?
When our Labor Council sat down with the mayor, he stated there will be given a $1,500 bonus this year. Did not designate how it would be distributed or when, just that it would.
So, don't know when or what?
No, he did not give a definitive date.
Okay. And that just goes to my point of fact here, everybody gets it, and they're excluding the police department, Mr. President. And I think it's totally unfair that the PD doesn't get it, and I understand there's some union people that's not getting this raise also. Why are they not getting that raise right now? Here you got the part-timers getting it, and why not you are full-time employees that's been here working, and especially the PD, the firemen got it, why not PD?
Councilwoman Maldonado.
Councilman Garcia, I asked that same question of the mayor's office last week, and what I was told was that they are in discussions with the union and the police department. So it's not a shut door to say, no, you won't receive your raise. There's still some, not raise, I'm sorry, bonuses, sorry. But that there's still some discussion that needs to be had. So that's what I was told.
Councilman Garcia.
Yeah, and that's fine and dandy, and that happens all the time when you got unions negotiating contracts and stuff like that. But you can still give the workers a bonus. There's no reason not to give them a bonus. You can still, contracts is about hourly wage, benefits and stuff like that, but a bonus is a bonus.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Anyone else with new business? Councilwoman Walker.
To my colleagues, everyone know that next month is Calumet Day, and we do have a souvenir book, and I would like it very much if the council would give us
We figured it out. If we go in on a joint ad, it'd be about $12 a piece. So, and you guys can get that to me. Anyone else with new business? I have a little bit for new business. I've noticed, through residents and have told me, and I've also noticed that there's a new tattoo shop open at the corner of Chicago Avenue and Todd. I know previously the last tattoo company that opened had to come through us, planning, the building department, and I'm not understanding why this company was able to open without going through all that. So with that, Clerk Santos, I will get you the specific name of the company, but I'll need a letter sent to the building department, planning, to see how that company was able to open without coming before us. Councilman Garcia?
Yeah, could I borrow up here, please?
Attorney Bauer?
Mr. Bauer, for that other tattoo place to open up, did they have to go through business and planning to get that requirement to open?
Yes.
And if they have a business license, who's in violation of giving them a business license?
Well, who is at fault if they don't have one?
They do have one.
if they do have one, it's whatever department. There is a stair-step procedure that was worked on at length, I believe, in 2013, that requires applications to be made, reviews, and ultimately, I believe, and I spoke with Adrian before, I think it goes to the Board of Public Works. It doesn't come back to the council, but there is an elaborate procedure that needs to be followed. The question to ask is, what procedure was followed? If it wasn't followed, then who failed to do it? The way to begin is to see what steps were taken on the existing tattoo parlor. And we spent almost a year in drafting that, and I think that the ordinance is like 13, 14 pages long. There's all kinds of things that have to be established, training of the employees, even down to what inks are permitted to be used, and the requirement for the sterilization of the equipment. So there is a very elaborate ordinance. And so the question is, who didn't follow it?
Can you provide me that procedure, what they supposed to have followed, or the council?
Well, sure. I know that Adrian has a copy of the ordinance that was passed. I'll make sure that he gets a copy to you, because it's pretty extensive and elaborate.
Mr. President, also, Mr. Clerk, if you could also send a letter to the building department, because they have signage outside on the sidewalk, you know. Any business just can't throw a sign out on the sidewalk, so if you could probably send them a letter, reference that also.
See, that's a different issue. Although I believe that was, I don't recall, if in the 17, 18-page ordinance that we passed, there was specific reference to signage. There may have been, but I'm sorry, I don't recall.
I'm just gonna have Clerk Santo have the building department check that out with code enforcement. They'll do that.
Councilman Medina?
When was that the ordinance regulating tattoo parlors adopted?
2013.
Okay. Did we have any tattoo parlors open prior to that?
Don't think so.
No.
And one of the major reasons why we spent so much time on it is that we wanted to get ahead of the game before we had some move in. Marna was the one that spearheaded this. I think, if I recall correctly, Hammond was having some problems. And so the council at that time wanted to be proactive and to get something on the books, to protect the citizens.
If per se, a tattoo parlor was already in business prior to passage of the ordinance, would they be grandfathered in?
Well, it depends. We didn't have that problem because there were none in operation at the time that the ordinance was passed.
Are we sure of that?
Yes.
That's my question.
They would be grandfathered in as far as zoning, as stuff like that, but as far as all the procedures and everything within the ordinance, they would be subject to those.
And the president is right, because most of the long ordinance has to do with public safety and health concerns. You are always entitled to make a policy decisions on health matters. That's a different kind of issue than the zoning.
Councilman Garcia?
What department gives out business permits?
Building department. Okay.
Mr. Santos, can you please send them a letter to see if they were provided a permit? And any documentation that they have?
They certainly should have received some type of occupancy permit. There had to be an inspection of the facility at some time.
Any other new business? With that, we'll move into public expression. I'll remind each speaker that you have 3 minutes. Our first speaker will be Alberto Vasquez.
Yes, I'm Alberto Vasquez. I'm the owner of Evil Ways Tattoos. I've been there for 3 years. And my concerns was that these people who opened up this new business have not been following the rules since a while now. And then for them to just pop up with this and everything they're doing, they told me no, you know. So I just want to make sure that they have to follow the steps just like I did, you know, especially for the zoning. That was a real big problem. They said that we couldn't have residents above or around us. That's why my specific spot is zoned right there in the business, right next door to the Western Union, 805 West Chicago Avenue. Have no residents above or around. So I just want to make sure, you know, they go by the book like I had to. You know, I fought. I did everything like I had to. You know, every time I get inspected, I get 100. You know, just want to make sure, you know, everything is okay. I said I'm a Chicago resident all my life, property owner, proud of East Chicago. You know, I'm here. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Juan Becerra.
Good evening, Juan Becerra, I reside on 35th block of Grand Boulevard. Council members, I heard you guys talking about the streets. I'm here to express on behalf of the residents of the 34th, 35th, and 36th block of Grand Boulevard. Last year, they tore apart our streets, moved the hydrants. I mean, they really did some damage to them, tore the grass apart. It's been going on 9 months now, and not a thing has been done. Cars are getting torn up, driving down the block. If you get a chance, go down the 35th block, starting at 34th end, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Where I reside at, on our block, the west side of the block, the street, it's pretty much paved. There's a long black pavement there, and cars will come flying down there and missing our cars by inches, because that's like the smoothest spot. One day my wife was about to walk out or get out of the van, and something told her that she was looking for something, and just at that time a car just came flying by, and just if she'd opened that door, had taken out the door, and maybe her, who knows. But we as residents want to know when we're going to see some improvement. You got Mr. Kendrick's hall there, the refurbished library. He puts up performances there, and you know, we're part of our city, and it's going on 9 months. We really don't want to go through another winter with these, because the plows don't hit the streets very well, because again, they're starting to cave in. It's the tank traps, the speed bumps, giant speed bumps is what they are. And again, as far as the grass goes, the contractor's like, that's not our department there. So, I mean, they're starting to sink in. People are just tripping. Residents, it's just making very, very hazardous for ourselves. And again, it's causing damage to our vehicles, and I know the city is not going to pay for the fixtures of our vehicles. I understand that, but it's painful in our pocketbook, and it's painful just in general. Again, because at least on the 35th and 36th block, you got that one side of the street, and they don't pay attention when they're driving down by there. So again, I just wanted to make the council aware, and then hopefully we can see some movement on these 3 blocks. And again, they did their job. They moved the hydrants and they redid the lines, but we need the work done. We need it finished, is what we need, to make it safer for the residents and for our cars as well. Thank you.
William Johnson.
Hello, William Johnson, Vice President, FOP Lodge 59. First and foremost, thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. Just for a minute, I'd like to talk numbers. We're at the lowest crime rate in East Chicago since 1985. We've had consecutive drop in violent and property crime for the consecutive last 4 years. Arson's down 67%, burglaries down 19%, property crime down 7%, and a total property crime and violent crime down 4%. Our patrol division is putting up great numbers, 10,000 plus traffic stops a year. But the main reason why I'm here is, yes, we are trying to work under contract negotiations, but several people in the East Chicago Police Department have a lawsuit pending against the city for vacation days. And Mayor Anthony Copeland stated, and I quote, "He will not ink anything on paper until that lawsuit is settled." If that lawsuit is not settled within, any amount's time, does that mean bonuses and or anything else is not allocated to the police department? That's what I'm worried about today. Thank you.
Rosa Maria Rodriguez.
Rosa Maria Rodriguez, 3827 Hemlock. I'm here about that article that was in the newspaper. There was an alleged theft. As a taxpayer, I'm concerned about the way that it was handled. You had a consultant that didn't have the qualifications, doesn't have what it takes to do the investigation, and yet it was not done. I'm asking as a resident that we've got a police department. We've got the FBI, according to the amounts. It's a federal offense. Why was not the proper authorities brought in at the time of the alleged accusations of the theft? People were resigned, people were fired. It doesn't look right. And the truth in the community is that there's a cover-up. Whether it's false or not, it's the people's truth. And we want answers. We would like to know why the police or the proper authorities were not contacted at the time of when it was discovered. This report that you're talking about with this consultant, I don't buy it. He's not a professional. He does not know, who knows what he did? And again, it's our guess against somebody else's guess. We need proper authorities to give us a proper information of exactly what occurred during that time of the alleged theft. Thank you.
I have no more cards. Chair will now accept a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Garcia, second by Councilman Franceschi. Any questions on adjournment? Clerk Santos, roll call for adjournment.
Maldonado.
Yes.
Franceschi.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Garcia. Yes. Orange. Medina.
Yes.
Monroe. Yes. Parker.
Yes. Meeting adjourned.